But the point isn't to go fast. The point is to give yourself time to think creatively and make novel connections between pieces of information so that you can bring them all together like an amazing spider, PhD spider. Is that a thing? Can we be spiders? Let's not be spiders. My name is Lisa. I'm a fourth year PhD student studying HRM and organizational behavior, and I have some top tips for incoming PhD students or students who are a little farther along who just want a new school year reset on their thinking. So welcome back to my channel where I like to talk about the human side of work. Speaking of humans, well, they're not humans, they're animals, but I have two small dogs. This is a brand new YouTube. Doing YouTube is a brand new thing for me, which means it's also a brand new thing for them, which means that you might hear some noises in the background, which is, I know, annoying. Please be patient with us as we learn how to be quiet while we're filming YouTube channel or YouTube videos. But I promise I'll show you adorable, I think they're really cute. So I promise I'll show you the dogs at the end of the video to make up for the racket that is happening right now, which I can't stop. So what am I here to talk about today? Well, I'll tell you, it's not productivity tips because I am ADHD and I literally could not tell you how I've gotten through my PhD. The other reason is, to be honest, I think you should give yourself some credit. If you're good enough at school that you've been accepted onto a PhD program, you probably don't need to make any massive major changes to your study habits. You know, like assess, tweak. You're good at school. You've got this. You know how to do this. You can handle complicated things. You've already proved it. So what am I going to tell you? Well, I will tell you why I think you should approach your PhD as if it's a job. I'll give you some random pick and mix kind of tips that are just things that I think might be helpful for you in general. And stick around to the end because I will tell you the number one most important thing that I really want you to remember, and the one thing I would say to every single PhD student regardless of the program. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, stick around. Let's talk about it. Okay, why should you treat your PhD like a job? Because it kind of is. For most of you, you will be earning your living during this next period doing a PhD. Some of you will be part-time, so you'll have another job, and I think if that's the situation, you'll understand even more why I'm saying to treat the PhD like a job. Sorry, the dog is dogging. No, not that. She's doing dog things. Woo! Okay. You need to treat your PhD like a job because you're basically your own boss. Like, sure, you've got check-ins you need to do, you've got things you're expected to produce. We'll talk about all that in a minute, but this is an autonomous project. You are basically learning how to become an independent researcher. So you need to figure out how to run your own schedule, what's important to you, what's not important to you. I think another really helpful thing about thinking about your PhD as a job is it's going to help you set boundaries, because then you can more easily think in terms of work-life boundaries. That's something we'll get to a little bit later too. Okay, so it's a job. What exactly is your role? Well, you're an apprentice. You're learning how to be a researcher. You don't know yet. Maybe you've already done a research degree, maybe you haven't. But regardless, this is a step up. You're a student. Obviously, you're a PhD student, but what I mean is that it's like you're overlapping. So you've come all the way through school, all your school years, all the different degree programs, and now you're at the PhD and you can't get any higher than that. But your PhD is also the entry level into a career as a professional researcher, right? So really, you're probably very good at school. That's probably why you thought doing a PhD would be something that would be entertaining for you, or that you would like, or you would be good at. If you think of it as a job instead of a school, I think that'll help you shift back into a beginner's mindset. And I think that's really important. So I didn't come up with the metaphor of an apprentice. That came from this book. I'm having my LeVar Burton moment. This book, which I highly recommend. That was a bit Vanna White, wasn't it? Anyway, this is a fantastic book. The authors talk about PhD as an apprenticeship. And the really interesting thing about that is that means that it releases you from the need for your dissertation or your thesis, your final work output, to be the most miraculous, groundbreaking piece of research that's ever been done, because it's not going to be. You are a research baby. I am a research baby. We don't know. Like, it'll be good. There will be varieties of goodness, right? But this is not going to be a career-defining piece of work, probably. Definitely the exception proves the rule. So if you know of somebody whose PhD work launched their entire career and they're famous for the PhD work, let us know down below. But for most of us, this is just practice. We're practicing becoming researchers. So if you, for instance, in the past have been a carpenter's apprentice and you were learning how to make furniture, you would be in training, you'd learn all the little bits, right? You'd learn how to make dove joints and other carpentry things that I clearly don't know anything about. But at the end of your apprenticeship, you would make, say, a chest of drawers, and that would be your masterpiece that you showed to show your mastery of the basic skills. And maybe later in your career, you could learn how to do the super fancy stuff, like, the really cool, like, inlaid wood and other things that, again, I know nothing about carpentry. I just like going to fancy houses and looking at their old furniture. But regardless, that is what your thesis is. Your thesis shows the skills that you've gained over the course of your apprenticeship. I also highly recommend this book. Rugg and Petra talk a lot about the unwritten rules, the things that you won't be able to necessarily know until you get into it. So a lot of stuff about the social life of an academic department and how that kind of works, which is extremely helpful. This is more nuts and bolts. How do you get a PhD? How do you deal when things are difficult? What kind of resources are out there for you? So I would definitely recommend both of these books, and I will have links down below to where, if you are in the UK, you can buy those books from independent booksellers. Another thing about your apprenticeship is that you're training, so take all the training opportunities you can if they're relevant. Don't overload yourself with going to every single seminar, every single workshop on offer, but try to find the ones that are relevant and go to those. And also expand your idea of relevance. If you are a quantitative researcher and you're pretty sure you're going to use one particular quantitative method, but there's a workshop about a related method, go to the related workshop too. Like, kind of stretch yourself, because especially in the first year of your PhD, the idea is to experiment and to learn and to figure out what would work and what wouldn't work and what you're interested in. Hopefully you'll be learning a lot of new things that you didn't know before, so there'll be all new things to be interested in and excited by. But you need to take the learning opportunities available to you so that you can find them. A final quick note about the PhD as an apprenticeship. I hope that you love researching. I hope that it makes you really happy and that you're really successful with it and that it's totally for you. But if it's not, it's okay if you stop. There's no shame, there's no judgment. Like, it's completely fine if you decide, actually, I don't think being a researcher is for me. I don't think that's what I want to do. And you stop doing the PhD. You can quit an apprenticeship. You can quit a job, right? This is no different. So I would definitely invite you to give it a really good go. And it is going to be hard and there are going to be sticky bits. But, if as you're going through, you're realizing this just isn't it. This isn't doing it for me. That's cool. You can leave. It's totally okay. And it's okay, on the other hand, if you just love it, if it's amazing and everything goes really pretty smoothly and it just lights you on fire and it's the most fabulous thing you've ever done, that's okay too. So ignore everybody else's little on either side and just do you. This is your apprenticeship. This is your job. This is your career, and you get to pick. Isn't that fun? Right. So the second implication of treating your PhD like a job is that means you have coworkers. Whether you're based on campus or you're based remotely, the thing that is really, really going to help you is having connections with other people, especially other PhD students. Scholarship is communal, right? It's always been communal. Even, 500 years ago, scholars were writing letters to each other and like going to meet each other and visiting. Like, scholarship happens in community. So you want to get tapped into that community in every way that you can, again, without overloading yourself. Among your coworkers, there is a really wide variety of ages and experiences. Some people will have come straight through and just done education all the way through and not taken any work breaks. Some people will have taken decades out of education to work careers and come back in. So don't worry if you're afraid that you're going to be the odd one out because you're the only one who fill in the blank. You won't be. Or even if you are the only one at that exact department, you're not the only one worldwide, and there will be other people in your boat. The most important thing to know about having coworkers is that that means that you need to work on being a good colleague. If this is the first desk-based work environment, the kind of office-y job that you've had, it might be a little bit different, right? People don't look at you as only a student anymore. They look at you as apprentice faculty, regardless of whether or not you want a job in higher education afterwards. And even if you have had a desk-based job, you need to learn what is being a good colleague in the context of a university. So some of it is very basic, but honestly, people don't do it. It blows my mind. I guess that's a failure of my imagination and empathy. But basic things: be on time, respect other people's time, be polite and professional in your emails. If you're British, don't sign your work emails with a kiss. Like that, some students do that. To be fair, I'm not sure I've seen a PhD student do that. I think hopefully you figured that out by now, but I've definitely seen undergraduates, British undergrads, sign their emails with a kiss. It's not great. You can laugh it off as a mistake, but like, it's not professional, right? So speak professionally to people, be respectful of other people's time, be respectful of other people's experience. And remember that you're establishing yourself as a professional, as a new professional in this field. So one of the ways that you can be collegial that's really helpful is just keeping an ear open for things that other people might find interesting. You're going to be reading so much, so much. So if you read something that's pertinent or that reminds you of a project that somebody else is doing, just send it to them. Say, hey, saw this, thought you might be interested. Boom, boom, send it off, right? If you see conferences that would be interesting, share that with people because, again, scholarship happens in community. Another part of being a good colleague, and this is something that you'll have to just look within yourself and kind of check in with yourself about, is finding the right balance of giving and receiving. So if you're a person who tends to always, always, always give, stop and think, like, are you not asking? Are you not letting people help you? Like, you need to get help. You need to get tapped in. You can't just constantly be giving because you do need to get some stuff back. If you're a person who's constantly receiving, stop and think about how can you give more? How can you be helpful? And I'm not talking about a kind of quid pro quo, you did me a favor, so I'll do you a favor, this kind of like no, we're not doing that. What I'm saying is, in general, give help and ask for help in roughly equal measure across your career. That was very vague, but I hope you know what I mean. I don't need to keep going. Another part of being a good colleague is respecting other people's intellects and time, which is to say, don't blag. Like, try not to be a bullshitter, right? Everybody knows you're at the beginning and you're learning, and it is 100% okay to say, I'm not really sure yet, or I'm thinking this, but I'm still developing the idea. That's totally fine. Putting on a front is kind of annoying, but also denies other people the chance to help you. Like, if you look like you have it all together because you're constantly pretending like you know everything, how is anyone going to know that you need help, right? So like, just chill. It's okay to not know things. You also need to get an elevator pitch. And actually, that's even overstating it. We're not even looking for an elevator pitch. You need to have a 10 to 15 second snippet of things you can say about what your research is. Because I'll tell you right now, when you're in a situation where somebody says, let's go around the room and everybody kind of say what their research is, You don't want to be the person that talks for 5 minutes about the entire history of the literature and the problem and what like the authors that you're referencing and the theories and the framers. Like, shh, 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 shh. People do care, but they don't care in that much detail at that very moment. So you need to be able to have something quick. So it would be something really basic. When I started, I would say something like, hi, I'm Lisa. I'm studying good jobs and bad jobs in the context of small businesses, still trying to figure out the details. The end. That's enough, right? Now that I know what I'm actually doing, I would say something like, hi, I'm Lisa. I'm studying hairdressers' quality of working life using photo elicitation interviews and observations. Again, the end. So that's enough that if people are interested or want to know more, they can ask me. If they don't have to. So keep it moving. Let's go. Okay, I'm going to keep it moving now. Because this is your job, you have rights and you need to ask for them if you're not getting them. Now, obviously, in terms of actual rights, you have the rights of a student, but just more generally speaking, you have the right to take a break. Not only do you have the right to take a break, but research shows that breaks are good for your brain, and I'll link it down below. It helps you learn. If you are on 24/7, there's no time for things to settle in, right? Your brain is, it's not a muscle. Like, don't come for me, scientists, but your brain is a muscle just like any other muscle, and it needs rest periods to grow. So be sure to give yourself a rest. If this helps you feel better, almost every day at lunchtime, I roll out my yoga mat in my office. I lay down and I do a 15 to 20 minute yoga nidra session. And actually, I will link one of those down for you below because they are an excellent way to take a break in the middle of the day. Also, take vacations, take holidays. You need to get away from your research so you can come back to it with fresh eyes, so that you can just, you're a person. Come on, man. You can't be just doing research stuff all the time. Take your breaks. You have enough time. I promise you have enough time. It'll be okay. Take a break. Right. So I obviously don't know if you are or are not in an employment relationship with your university. I am not. There is an ongoing debate about if postgraduate researchers should be employees, because we do a lot of the same things that employees do, that faculty do. We teach classes, we produce papers, we go to meetings, we put on seminars, we go to conferences. Like, there's a lot. The University and College Union in the UK actually has a whole manifesto about this, and it's one of their campaigns. I've linked that down below too, because I think it's important and it's worth looking at. But regardless of whether or not you have an employment relationship with your university, if something is going wrong, there will be a way to fix it. And by something, I mean if people are not giving you the support that you're supposed to be getting, if you have a conflict, if people are making their criticism of your work into a personal criticism, all of those are things that universities are capable of handling, or that unions are capable of handling. So in the UK, you can join the UCU as a student member. You're a non-voting member, so you can't vote for strike actions, but you can go to meetings. It's free, and you can kind of at least start to hear a second perspective. I've enjoyed going to union meetings and just hearing what's happening and what kind of issues there might be. It helps me have a better idea of what my career might be when I'm done with my apprenticeship. But if you're having issues, please do find out who it is that can help you. Talk to your student support office, talk to the students union, talk to literally anybody, but figure it out. Get the help that you need. Okay, so that's the end of how your PhD is like a job. I've got a lot of random stuff to say that I'm calling pick and mix tips with the whole video, but especially with this. Take whatever you think might work for you, leave the rest behind. I really think you need a hobby. The PhD is such a long process, and there will be periods of time where you might think it might look like you're not making any progress. You might have a weird feeling like, I haven't really done anything today, but you have, because you've been reading or thinking, or like so much of it just happens here and you can't see it, that I think is super, super helpful if you have a hobby that engages your body more fully. Sports, I like to sew, you could sing, you could paint, dance, whatever, but a physical hobby that you will be able to progress at more quickly than you are in the PhD, because it helps you see how your life actually is. Like, you are learning, you are doing things. And also, I don't have the science for this, but I'm pretty sure that engaging different parts of your brain is helpful. So it can give, again, right, rest is important for your brain. So to completely switch off those intense cognitive functions and be off, I like to listen to audiobooks while I sew. You know, that's lovely. It's nice. It's like a bath for my brain. It's amazing. So get yourself a hobby. From the very first day, or even before the first day, like from today, make it today. Why not? Start a research diary. It is so helpful to have. Some of it will be, there are cases in which you need to have like an actual research log, right? Like the equivalent of lab notes, if not actually lab notes themselves, so you can remember why you made the decisions you made. But it's also really important to keep track of just how you're feeling, what's going on. You're not going to remember. So these are my journals so far. I'm on my 4th year, so I'm on my 3rd journal, and there's just so much stuff. I use them for, it's a place where I can completely just say whatever. Like, there's so many scribbles and swears in these. Like, you don't know how many times I said, oh my, I don't know what the fuck is going on. And I just write it down and I get it out and it feels better. And then I'll be able to go back and look at it and help do some reflection. So highly encourage you to get a research diary. It doesn't have to be a written diary. You could do voice notes. I also have a research diary that's a Word document that I keep open while I'm writing or while I'm doing other things, so that as I have little thoughts, I can just switch over, type them down and go. Keep a research diary. Very free, very open, really, really helpful for you to be able to track how your thinking has changed. Back everything up. Back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. Because you don't want to be in the situation where you've lost what you're doing. Just back it all up. If you don't already have an external hard drive, get one of those, back up to the cloud, back up to a drive, get yourself on a backup schedule, set yourself alarms so that you don't forget, back everything up. We're not going to speak it into existence, what could happen if you don't, but back up. Done is better than perfect, and you're not done until the paperwork is done. So, is this video perfect? Absolutely not. This is actually the 3rd attempt I have made to film this, my first YouTube video. So it is not going to be perfect, but it is going to be done. It's going to be there so that people can see it, and hopefully it will help people. I suspect that the type of people who want to do PhDs are not people who are kind of loosey-goosey with their assessments and assignments, like, oh, whatever, it's good enough. I know that you want to make it like the most perfect, best expression of all the hard work that you've done that you can, but it's better that it's done. Especially if, like me, I hadn't really gone through drafting processes before I started the PhD, because I'm a good writer and my writing was certainly good enough through my undergraduate and my top master. So a lot of times I just turned in my rough draft. It wasn't even a rough draft. It was just the first draft. I would write it the night before it was due and turn it in. And it clearly worked because I'm doing a PhD now. So it's been a process to learn how to just get things down on paper and build it. I'm now on my 6th or 7th draft probably of the paper that I've been working on for 2 years. Like it's a long process. So it's better to get things done and good enough than perfect. Also, side note, if you are in the habit of doing what I used to be in the habit of doing, and you would kind of write and you would know that, be like, oh, I know I read that somewhere. Somebody definitely said this. So you just write the sentence and then put in brackets source and go back and get it later. don't do that. It doesn't work for the PhD. You've got so much information that it is worth it to interrupt the flow. I mean, like, get to the end of the sentence or whatever, but before you stop writing for the day or for that writing session, find that reference and get it in there, because you will be lost if you don't. Just saying. Lastly, consider handwriting your notes. There has been research that suggests that recall is better when you handwrite. It's a great excuse to buy stationery, which we love, and it slows you down. The point isn't to suck in as much information as you can as quickly as you can. The point is to think and make connections and understand what you're reading and understand how it's linking to other things. And so for some of you, definitely software that note-taking software like Obsidian or whatever, which I don't really know how to use, but you can make really cool maps of how things fit together. But a lot of that happens in your head, and a lot of that can happen as you're handwriting your notes. And it's just a little more freeing. And it's fun. And again, stationery. Okay, we reached it. This is the most important thing. If you don't remember anything else from this video, this is what I want you to remember. Are you ready? You are not your research. You are a person. You are a whole human being who is doing research, right? You love people. People love you. You laugh. You have hobbies. You go places. You eat things. You see things. You have good days. You have bad days. You grow plants. You kill plants. You have a whole range of human experiences that you've had before and that you'll have in the future. And this is one of those, but it is not you. Your experiences are not you. What can make the PhD so difficult is that we do tend to really self-identify with our research. It's our baby. We spend hours thinking about it and nurturing it and helping it grow and picking it up when it falls, right? But it's not us. It's a thing that we produce. And that's where the baby metaphors stop. Babies aren't things. Babies are people too. But it's not you. And having that distance is helpful because it'll be easier to take a break because you're not betraying yourself. You're just not working on a project at the moment. And it will also help when people criticize your work, which they are going to do because, again, scholarship happens in community. And part of that community is having like this push-pull academic kind of tussle about ideas. I hope that is a positive experience and that people in your work group that you're having these conversations with are nice and are polite and encouraging about it. I know that that's not the case in all departments. That's not the case in all fields. But even when it's not, the idea isn't that you suck because this is dumb and you're an idiot and da-da-da-da. No. And frankly, if anybody says stuff like that, they are a miserable human and you need to just let them go work on their misery by themselves. That's not for you, right? But the criticisms are about the work, are what makes the work better. And the more distance you can keep between yourself, the less that will feel like an attack on you. So that's what I really need you to know. Tattoo it on the inside of your eyeballs, put it in your heart, write it on a sticky note, make it the background of your phone, do whatever you need to do so that is front and center of your mind. You are not your research. You are a whole human being who is doing a research project. Okay? Do you believe me? Because it's true. You're awesome. This is so fun. It's so cool that we get to do this for a living. Like, honestly, it is not easy every day. Personally, at this very moment in time as I'm filming, I have 13 months left. I have 1 month. I need to get about 38 participants for a piece of research. I am stressed out of my mind. I do not know what has come over me to start a YouTube channel right now. But even with all that, like, it is so cool that we get to read and write and think and talk for a living. That is amazing. What a privilege. What a fun thing to do. Ah, I love it. I hope you love it too. I really hope you love it. And if that's not your experience, it's okay. Like, that's fine too. You don't have to keep doing something that you hate just because you think that people will judge you if you stop. Like, are they living your life? Are they in your head? Are they dealing with your stresses? Are they paying your bills? It doesn't even matter if they are paying their bills. Who cares about who pays the bills? Do what makes you happy, right? So that is the end of my tips and tricks. Number one, we're gonna treat our PhD like a job. We're apprentices with co-workers, responsibilities, and rights. We're gonna buy stationery and take handwritten notes because it's super fun and probably good for your brain, as are hobbies. And the motto for our PhD is, you are not your research. I am not my research. Say it every morning, say it till you really believe it so that you can free yourself a bit from some of the emotional bits of it and just have the most fun on your PhD. You'll be great. Remember, you're already good at school. You wouldn't be here, right? So you're gonna have a great time. It'll be lovely. If it's not, get the help that you need. There's resources down below. Thank you so much for being with me. This is a brand new channel, so if you would subscribe, that would be super, super helpful. This is eventually, well, not eventually, very soon. The channel is also so I can do research outreach, so I can get regular people who aren't reading journals, help them know more about the types of things that I'm learning my research. So a subscription would be very helpful. I'm also gonna be doing some videos about PhD stuff, about basic research methods and things like, what is epistemology and axiology, and do I need a research philosophy, and is there such thing as methods wars, and all of this. We're gonna go into all of it, so it'll be really fun. So if you liked the video, if you found anything at all about it helpful, give it, oh my God, I can't, give it a thumbs up, but I guess that's what I'm doing now. So like the video if you liked the video, please subscribe. And if you think it was helpful, you think somebody in your program or somebody elsewhere might find it helpful, share it with them, right? Be a good colleague, share the wealth. So that's all for me. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye. I promised that I would show you dogs. So this is Pippa. This is the one running around making noises. I love her. This is Hamlet. He's a very sweet boy.